Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Copperline Rattler Ranch. I'm Julia. We're going to be working on our windows. I know we don't have a roof on yet, but we're going to get our windows in. It's just one step to help us stay motivated. You know, those smaller projects that we get done, like doing the cob on the inside of the building. We still have one wall to do. We got too windy, and putting these windows in helps us stay motivated to complete our home. So today we're going to be doing that, and as you can see, we have to do, of course, remove our braces, and then we'll have to do a little bit of removing of some of the cob around here where I got it too close to the frame before we can get those windows on, and then the cob will come up to that and cover up the flange on the window. From my point of view, it looks nice. It went in there nicely, so get the level and we'll do our shimming, and you can nail that sucker down.
So are we going to pull back out and lay it on the table again?
We need to...
Is it all cleaned up and ready to go?
It's all cleaned up and ready to go. We just need to... Okay.
We still have to put the sealant.
You're right. Okay, seal it, and then we'll put it in there, and then we level it. Oops. Okay.
So let's get the shims.
Stick them on the inside.
You're weird.
I'm weird today. no hold. You shim. Okay, good. All right, Don is going to go inside and make sure everything's level and shim it so we have equal space all the way around the window. And then he'll nail it in place along the flange. All those little slots will get a nail. How is it? Oh, good. Do we need to come up a little bit?
I have to lift up on it just a little bit.
All right, I'm lifting.
I don't know if I should be doing it on the window or the frame.
I don't know. It looks level there. Woohoo! All right, so
It's pretty tight.
pretty tight. That's what we want. We made it so it was a 1/4 inch play on all sides. Good? When he doesn't say anything, you know it's good.
There's so much mud on this thing, I can't see it.
I know. And check their edge too.
See, I'm wondering if we should. There's a big gap at the top. You want to try to make it even?
No, as long as there's enough of a gap, like you said, for expansion, I think we're good. But we had the shift, remember, and it didn't come quite together perfectly up at the top when you refixed it. Boris. As long as there's some, what I read was that there should be, if you have a choice, a little bit more of a gap at the top to allow for that expansion and contraction. All right. He's checking it 6 ways to Sunday. Good. So what we did when we were building our frames and deciding on our size, we took the measurements of our frames, the inside measurement of the frame, into the store that we bought the windows from, and they matched the size of the window to be appropriate for that fitting, allowing for a 1/4 inch play all the way around on all 4 sides. Looks like we did a fairly good job. Now he just has to nail it in. I'm going to hold it until he gets a couple nails in. Last thing we want is for a custom window to fall down and break.
you want to, you can wipe it down.
No, I don't want to wipe it down. It's covered by clouds anyway, I'm glad you found that tool. Here is the window from the inside that we just put in. And we're going to move on to this next window and then one more window after that. Alright, so we got that window in. This is the next window. We have one more. This wall, we still have to do the mudding. We had 3 days of extremely high winds with our sustained winds in the 20s to 30s and gusts up to 40s and some places of this county in the 50s. So we weren't able to do any work for those few days. So we still have to finish that in there. We're moving on these 2 more windows. This frame has given us a little bit of a headache because when we did the repair, it wasn't quite plumb. It's leaning in a little bit. So he's going to see what we need to do up here. We may rip a piece of material to put in there and brace it forward because we don't want the window leaning in. We want it straight up and down. So we're going to do that. We'll take a look at how the window fits in there, and then we'll either measure or place some shims to see what depth that piece of material should be when we do that. And then we'll also shim on the tops of these sides as well to get it up. I'm feeling like this is bowing a little bit, so we may have to scrape some material off like this surface here as well. We'll see what happens when we get the window dry fitted.
Nail on the bottom. We got to shim it up off the bottom,
Okay.
so it's not touching the frame, and then maybe put a temporary screw or something,
Okay.
and then we can make our adjustments.
All right. So that's not too bad there.
That's the frame itself.
All right. So I'll hold it. You go put your shims in, and we'll get that temporary fastener in and go from there. So that spot that I felt was warped isn't. It's actually pretty good. I think it's just an illusion of the way the sun's hitting it or something that made me feel it was warped. But we do have that issue with the frame not being plumb. So what Don's going to do is he's going to put some screws in a couple of places that we can loosely hold the frame in place, and then we'll go from there to see what the depth of that shim needs to be, especially the one across the top, before we finish this window up. Of course, we have to get it lifted off the bottom of the frame a little bit with the shims and make sure it's level as well as plumb. Excuse me, I'm froggy today.
Got to check the level.
All right.
on the inside.
Okay. So Don has shimmed the bottom on the inside. He's going to check it for level. But he says from the inside, the appearance is that it looks pretty good. Good? Yeah. Yay. Now he'll put those temporary screws in. We'll see how much shimming we need to do around the top to get it plumb. And then we'll go from there. Once we get the windows in, we do have a trip coming up that we're going to Tucson for. We're going to remove these crappy screens and take them to our favorite hardware store in Tucson and have them rescreen them with a tougher material. There's a material that is pet resistant, that is resistant to animal scratches and bumps and things. We figured that that's going to be the best material for any of the windstorms and things that we get. So these are just that fabric screen, and I feel like it's just going to tear pretty quickly. So we'll take these out when we go up to Tucson next week and have them rescreened up there at that store, at the hardware store that we like to go to up there. They do a really good job there. So, but there, like I said, there's a material that you can get that's a nice tough metal screen that should last a lot longer and not get tattered and torn as readily as these probably will. These are double sash windows so that we can open them either up from the bottom or pull down on the top, and that's so that we can get some good air circulation and get that hot air out in the summertime or in the wintertime if it's too warm in there, to help keep the house cool. So that's why we have a double sash. It opens top to bottom or bottom to top. So that's why the whole screen is just one piece. So it affects each window. But we're going to take these up and get them replaced.
These are too long.
Now, do you just want to, I don't know, see, it's already quite a ways out here.
Yeah.
I don't know that you can get it in. Oh, never mind.
You silly.
All right.
The way it looks right now, it's sticking out farther on the east than the west.
Yes.
So maybe I should put some shims
On this side and see what we got. And then measure what we need to rip up from the top.
Let me put this in temporarily so you can
Walk away.
walk away.
You have to be able to pull it out. Okay.
That'll keep it from falling at least, I think.
I hope.
A tool that we can put here
Mm-hmm.
and then measure,
Okay.
and then put up there and measure, and then draw like a diagonal
Yeah, the wedge.
wedge type
Okay.
thing.
And then we'll have to measure at the top and see. Is that going to be a wedge piece at the top, do you think?
Yeah.
Or do you think it'll be just a straight?
From east to west,
Yeah.
it's going to be a wedge,
All right.
because you can see the west side's almost completely flush right now,
Mm-hmm.
and this one sticks out quite a ways.
Yeah.
So
The other thing I think we could do, but it probably would be easier just to do the wedge, would be to shave off some of the frame here, but I don't know.
that's gonna push the window in.
Oh,
isn't
okay.
it?
Okay. Well, it's just a thought.
We could do that, I guess.
Well, I don't know if it would work, and if it doesn't, then we're adding more material. So let's go with the wedge shim. Okay. Okay.
And then the mud, when we put the mud in,
Mm-hmm.
we can probably make it
hide.
look good.
Yeah. Hide a lot with this stuff.
See, I put the level. I don't know how accurate it is because it's dirty.
Well, clean it off. It's in the black.
That would be acceptable.
All right.
That's the frame itself.
Mm-hmm. Same there. I would hope it would always be the same there.
That doesn't hurt to check. So there's a little bit of a gap here. The problem is how to get the shims in. Or we could do, like I said, measure and make a custom wedge shim that's the full length kind of thing. But that would be a much more solid answer.
Okay.
And then the same thing at the
Across
top.
the top.
And then this side is fairly close.
All right.
But I don't know if we just use regular shims on that. If we could even get them in there because of the way it's designed. You can't get them in from the inside.
Okay. No.
So you'd have to measure it, put the shims in, and then put the window back in.
Okay. And then, okay, let's just do that. I think that's a good idea. So,
if you want the windows to be, well, they're level.
but if we want them to be
plumb.
Yeah, to be plumb, we gotta do something.
Actually, it could come out just a hair more.
Okay. All right, so that's the plan. That's the plan. All right, so we've got these long shims in place. We're going to do a dry fit. The problem with the shims that we're having right now is that they're too thick for the nails that we're attaching the windows to the frame for. So we're going to have to secure these shims, these thicker parts, with a longer nail. But Don wants to make sure that it's not going to interfere with the slots on the flange where we need to put the nails in to hold the window to the frame. So that's what he's doing right now. We're going to hold it up there, dry fit it. We're going to dry fit it in there. He'll mark where we're in the area that we need to put the nails so that we miss those spots. So mark it with a Sharpie. Oops, sorry, I came off. How are we over there? Well, the shims on the inside might be in the way for right now. There we go. This looks pretty good over here.
Okay, let me go check the inside. Hold it.
All right, you go check the inside. All right. All right, well, that's the last three windows in the bedroom, and they're all in place. All we have to do is the finish work now on them, and that's going to come at a later time. I want to say on the outside, I want to put a slate stone sill to help with water runoff. and on all 4 of the windows. So there's 1, 2, 3 here in the bedroom. This of course is the rest of that west wall we need to finish. We'll get to that tomorrow. And there's the one in the living room that we did a couple of days ago. So we think they turned out fairly well, considering that we had problems with the damage from the storms last year. And it's been a long time coming, but it certainly does make it a lot quieter inside the house, even though we still don't have a roof. So there you have it. I think that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. We are in no way professionals, as you could tell from the way we were putting the windows up. Probably some things that we could have done better when we did the repair work. We could have, I don't know how we could have done those any better. That was just a mess when we had the wall collapse and everything shifted and everything. So all things considered, I think it went pretty well to get 4 windows in without any damage and without too much major adjustments to the frames themselves. We didn't have to shave off any wood. We did have to do some mega shims on a couple of the windows in order to get them to work because the frames themselves had kind of shifted within the wall. That was something that we hadn't noticed when we did the repair work. So thank you for watching. I hope to see you again next time. And remember to share the video, like the video, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye.